This was absolutely insane to witness as the Toronto Blue Jays pulled off something that not only they had to do, but they did so in dominant fashion on the backs of two key hitters. We're going to break down this massive win and discuss what it means going forward as folks. This was, again, not only much needed, but absolutely critical as they keep their AL East hopes in winning the division alive. Ton of things to go over today, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to want to stay tuned till the end, but before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. You guys have been absolute beasts with the support. It truly means the world to me, folks. They needed this. This has been a very depressing past few weeks of baseball for the Toronto Blue Jays, really past couple weeks, and obviously they've had a great season overall. This was a game they needed to win. You know the Yankees are going up against the White Sox. You're tied in the division. You have to win, have momentum, carry momentum against the Rays starting tomorrow on Apple TV, by the way. And folks, they pulled it off. They put up a six-piece. And again, I want to dive into a few different things in this video because this game was a huge test. And I truly believe that this just unlocked the Jays. I really believe that. I think, and I was saying it to my friends, I was saying it to people, around the team, people, my friends and people, around me. This was, they needed one hit. They just needed one hit to open things up, and that was in the back of Dalton Varsho, who hits a lefty-lefty grand slam of all grand slams, the biggest one we've seen in years, to not only break the game wide open, but to really just send a message, I think, to us as fans that, okay, this team can still score runs. They can hit. They can do it. They did it. They won the game, and this was a character win, and it was also followed up by a George Springer two-run home run. This is what we need from the Blue Jays. It's worked all year. Yes, they've been through a horrific slump. I still have faith in this team. Hopefully you get Bichette back. Anthony Santander looks absolutely fantastic out there. Vladdy had another horrible game. He's scuffling. Hopefully he figures it out. But let's go through as we always do. George Springer 1 for 4 with one of the biggest hits of the day, a two-run shot. Nathan Lucas, a triple. They weren't able to score him in the first inning. Vladdy, some pathetic at-bats, to be quite honest. Got an infield single. I'm going to move on from that. Berger, couple walks. He's struggling a little bit, but, figured it out tonight. Anthony Santander, and I want to dive into Anthony Santander. Got a single to right field his first at-bat and almost hit a grand slam himself, and it's his second or third at-bat. I think it was his second at-bat, whatever it was. And then obviously struck out looking. Santander looks fantastic. His eye looks great. Had a fantastic, had some really, fantastic at-bats. Really had a great full count walk, but he got hit on the shin pad. It was a walk. That's why it doesn't show up as a walk here. He looks really good. His bat speed is faster than I've ever seen it as a Blue Jay. That could be huge going forward. Varsho, who's been struggling a little bit as of late, like the whole team has, hits the biggest home run of his Blue Jays career. Huge, huge, huge home run. And that home run happened moments after we get the update that the Yankees scored 3 on the White Sox. The White Sox are doing everything they can to gift the Yankees the win. I mean, error after wild pitch, yesterday or the day before. It has been atrocious. But you cannot expect the White Sox to help the Blue Jays out, and they're not going to. The Jays need to take care of their own business like they did tonight. Jimenez with a pretty big double, ended the game with the catch there. Fantastic game from the offense. Still not exactly where I want it to be, but you'll take it, right? Santander, having him in this lineup looks way better. Simple as that. Imagine if you had Bichette, you'd have Berger. I don't even want to imagine it because we're going to hopefully be able to some point soon. But again, huge, 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 huge win. Massive win. And I need to dive into the pitching because good Lord, they had a perfect game through 6. Louis Verland, dominant. And there's time to have a conversation, probably in the offseason, hopefully after a World Series win, about what he does next year, whether he's a dominant starting pitcher, the closer. Like, there's a ton of different avenues here. He's back to using his whole repertoire of pitches, and he did so in fantastic manner. 2 innings, 3 Ks, dominant. Eric Lauer, guess what, folks? Even more dominant, 3 1/3, 2 Ks. I could see them using a piggyback role in a bullpen with Eric Lauer. That's how good he has been in the relief role. Has a sub 2.5 ERA as a reliever. Yariel looks solid. Fisher, he struggled, but I'm going to give him the pass. He's been great all year. Sir Anthony Dominguez shuts things down. Brendan Little shuts things down. Jeff Hoffman, obviously the thing didn't update. Made it a little bit scary, but he got it done. He loaded the bases, but got it done. Folks, this is where if the bullpen can get, and they've been a lot better as of late, if they can get hot like they have been, and they are hot, and then you get the offense hot, folks, this team can make a deep playoff push. It feels like the sky was falling down. It is falling down because of how they've played over the past few days, past few weeks, collapsing. It's 5-game, really 6-game lead up in the AL East for nothing, really. They gave it away. Take care of business on your own and you can win the AL East. There is 3 games left. 3 games. 162 games. 159 games were played so far. I've covered every single one of them in some form on the channel. It all comes down to the 3 games this weekend. That's it. It comes down to these games. You win 3, you're in. You win 2, you might not be in. The Orioles, and I'll dive into it later, are throwing their aces against the Yankees. Do not rely on them. Do not rely on them. Rely on yourselves like you did tonight. Shout out to George Springer, huge 2-run home run. Shout out to Dalton Varsho, where we got a patented, infamous Jeff Passan tweet. Dalton Varsho with the biggest swing of the season, and I'm going to say by far his biggest swing in his Toronto Blue Jays career. Maybe the biggest swing of his career ever, even though it is a regular season swing. Like, it mattered that much. And Toronto's pitching has been very interesting tonight, too. The pitching is not a problem right now. And we have Berríos going to the IL. You have Chris Bassett on the IL. Eric Lauer, I don't know what they're going to do with the starting rotation if they make a wild card game like Max Scherzer to a bullpen. It'll be like obviously Kevin Gausman, but it'll be wild how things line up. Go all in, win the division. Vibes are somewhat back. I'm still a little bit pessimistic about the offense. They exploded tonight, right? They got the big swing, and I think this will unlock them hugely, right? I think they're going to obviously, still struggle at times, things like that. Vladdy needs to figure it out, but I think everyone else, like, if they can just stay the course, stop pressing like they did, we might be looking back at this swing right here by Dalton Varsho on September 25th, 2025, and saying, okay, this is the reason they won the ALDS, because this was the turning point in the game. I mean, up until this point, the offense was really bad. You can see there in the bottom right, top of the 6, 0-2, 0 outs. And against the lefty, Varsho's been struggling. He's strikeout prone. They took care of business, folks. And you have Will Warren against Trevor Rogers against the Orioles tomorrow. Will Warren's the worst starting pitcher. Trevor Rogers is the Orioles' best starting pitcher. Maybe you can get a little favor done if you are the Orioles for the Blue Jays. But man, oh man, what an electric hit. What the Blue Jays have been missing of late is home runs. Thanks to Dalton Varsho's 20th of the season and George Springer's 31st. The Blue Jays are now up 6-0, and the Rogers Center is buzzing again. Huge win. Now, on to tomorrow. It's as simple as that. I don't want to, soak in it too much. On to tomorrow. You have the biggest series of the year. They pushed Shane Bieber to tomorrow, which ultimately pays to be, a very big decision, hopefully a very good one, because you need to win tomorrow's game. This is huge, right? And you look at the bullpen and the way that, the pitches go. You should have Yariel tomorrow. You should have Fisher tomorrow. You should probably have Sir Anthony tomorrow. Louis Verland, I don't know. He only threw 23 pitches. Can he run tomorrow? Lauer's obviously down. Hoffman ended up throwing like 20-something pitches. It doesn't matter at this point. You throw it till your arms fall off, essentially, at this point of the year. You go, take care of business. I hope and I expect the Orioles to help the Jays out a little bit by winning at least 1. 2-1 should be enough, but go out, win 3 games, take care of your own business. The White Sox didn't help you out. Doesn't matter. Don't feel bad for yourselves. Don't blame the umpires. Win the baseball game, and we're going to cover it every step of the way, folks. This is what we prayed for years. We're here. We're doing it, and hopefully the Jays can take care of business this weekend.